Welcome back to my second kart vlog video, and in today's video we'll be recapping the round 3 of the Festival State Cup at the Southern Go-Kart Club and the River City titles at the Go-Kart Club of South Australia. And before we get into this, I just want to say thank you for all the support on the first video. We got over 800 views on that in just my first video. I had people in the paddock come up to me and tell me that they watched my video and they really liked it. So I really do appreciate all the support, and I'm hoping that we can get that one step further in every video from now on. Just keep improving, building the channel, building the videos, and yeah. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here we are for Heat 1, Festival State Cup at Southern. After qualifying P5, which I was sort of expecting, to be in that middle part of the field. It's just now, can we work forward? And we've got Corey to the outside as Olivia goes for a move on Chris, and the gap quickly closes for us. And Corey goes around the outside after not going for a move on the opening lap like I did, which was a bit stupid. A bit of a snap there through the S's as a run over the curb. Dan Virgo attacking us now, and Corey getting past Olivia into turn 6, so he's already up 2 positions and we're down 1. So it's not the best start from us, but we're still in the hunt as we come around to complete the first lap. We're just going to skip forward here to lap 3, where we've stuck with the pack, but Olivia goes for the move up the inside of Corey. It's a really good move, gets it pulled up. Corey goes to the switchback and I sneak up the inside into 7, and not quite alongside enough where I could close the door on him here. We're actually side by side and I stick it all the way around the outside. Absolutely no grip out there, but we make it work, we make it happen, and now we're side by side down the straight. I'm a tiny bit ahead though to the braking. I'm able to just shut the door closed, and I've taken the position. And then lap 7 I've caught up to Olivia as we're slowly catching Chris ahead, who's starting to drop off from the front to Will and Tyler. And I have a bit of a slide through there, just not close enough to Olivia. I'm starting to have a couple of mistakes in my driving. As we come around the last turn here, she has a mid-corner slide, but so do I, and we come down the straight, and with our engines being pretty even, no one really, she doesn't gain on me and I don't gain on her, and it just stays like that. And we slowly catch up to Chris, but we've just run out of laps. But a P5 finish for the first race of the day is not too bad. On to Heat 2 now, once again starting from P5 with Olivia ahead and Corey to the side of us. It's a good launch off the line as well, and can everyone survive turn 1 and 2? A little bit of contact ahead of us, and yes, everyone survives. A quick check off the shoulder for Olivia as we just sit right behind her. Nothing stupid this time, no dives up the inside. We just keep it on the track and survive the first lap. That was the plan, and that's what happened. But onto lap 2 here, we have a bad run through 1 and 2, and Corey is right behind us and up into Wakefield. He goes up the inside, but we knew he was coming for that, and what a switchback that was. Just straight away getting back and hold on to 5th, but Corey is flying, and it only takes him 1 more lap to put us under more pressure as we're down the main straight side by side and into the braking. He's later on the brakes, has the inside and takes the position. And at this point I knew it wasn't worth trying to fight him too hard, as he is quick, and I'm starting to struggle, as we can see here. I skipped over the grass, just turned in and had no grip at all. I started to struggle, and this is where Dan Virgo now gets me around the outside of the sweeper as well. So down 2 positions in a couple of laps, and it just took us the whole heat really to stick with Dan and start to close the gap. But we closed it dramatically on the last lap here. Into Tyson's, we think better of it, we don't go for the move. Dan uses a bit too much curb, which gives us a brilliant opportunity into turn 7 to throw it up the inside. We get the move done as well. And yeah, that was it for Heat 2 as we come around the last turn to finish P6. So not too bad. On to Heat 3 here, starting from 5th place, and yeah, and see what we can do. Is down in towards turn 1. Once again, everyone survives turn 1, and to a little bit of contact between Chris and Olivia on the way through. I give Chris a bump, but Corey sees a gap up the inside, which forces me and Olivia out into the dirty side of the track. There's no grip there at all, and we're just both off into the gravel over the grass. Keep going, no, but it's dropped us all the way back down to 9th place, which is a horrible start. But yeah, just on lap 2 here, I'm able to catch up to Jake Nicholas in the number 2 Pro-Kart's Paraka Arrow. And around the last turn here, as we go on to lap 3, I get a nice run, and I know I'm going to be able to outbrake him and pull alongside, and as actually we get towards the end of the straight, far enough alongside to just take the position, and now we're behind Chelsea. And as I'm catching her up into Wakefield here, she has a bit of a slide, which makes the run down here all the way down to Tyson through the S's really poor for her, and then once again through the S's another snap, so we throw it up the inside into Tyson's turn 6, get it pulled up, and that's another position back. So the recovery drive is on, or so I thought. Yeah, I didn't have enough pace to catch anyone else. We closed the gap to Chris, LaRocca and Dan, but we couldn't do anything more than that, so P7 finish. And here we are for the final, starting P6. This is the only race on the day that counts, so the top 3 in this race get the trophies at the end of the day. So it's all to play for, but we made a poor decision in terms of setup, must be said, which does affect our overall pace, and through 1 and 2 Dan gets a good run on us and is able to go up the inside at Wakefield, so we're back down to 7th now, just after the first lap, and then on lap 2 again. The field stays pretty condensed, and we go up the inside of Dan, get the position back up into P6, because if we have any chance of getting on the podium, we need to stay ahead, but that quickly fades away as a lap later now. Dan just passes me at the sweeper, and this starts the final for me. And what really happened was just me trading laps with Dan for multiple times, just doing laps consistently within a couple tenths of each other. Sometimes he would gain, sometimes I would gain. And yeah, this was the whole heat for us, as the front pack started to just pull away. And it wasn't only until the last lap of the race where I actually got a good run, and we're side by side into the last turn. I get on the brakes, rears lock, I have to get off and get on the brakes back again, and by then Dan had outbraked me and taken the position away. And a bit of a slide here through Wakefield gave me a bit of hope as we run down towards the S's, an area of the track where I've been pretty strong most of the day. Into Tyson's, I don't go for the move, but I just use too much curb here, and it throws the car with bummets. Dan goes tight into the turn anyway. So yeah, that was it. A P7 finish as we come around the last turn here. Not what we wanted, but still not too bad. A thumbs up from Dan for some good racing, and yeah, go again in a week. Yeah, so I thought I would chuck this in the video. This is how I transport my karts to and from races and to the track and so on. So we've made a stand for my ute, as I don't have a trailer, and yeah, we just put the cart on top, tie it down, we can put all our things underneath, gazebo, chairs, etc., everything. So yeah, you don't have to have a trailer to start racing. If you have a ute, you can do something like this. So after putting 8 tenths on the field in practice, it's time for Heat 1. We're starting on the front row from 2nd place, and it's lights out and away we go. We're alongside Dan, who gets a bit of a bump into turn 1, it's forced wide. I had to jump on the brakes there as well, and we lose all the positions back down to P6 now. So once again, the first lap lights, and we lose a bunch of positions with Ryan Wesley now just ahead of us. We go for a little bit of a switch back here into 3 and run down to 4, we go up the inside, and we have momentum, we have the line as well, and we get the move done. So up to P5 now, and we've got a really good run through turn 5 against Phil. So we go up the inside of Phil into turn 6, and at least we made some of the positions back, so we're up into P4 now at the end of lap 1. So it could have been a lot worse. But yeah, skipping forward to the end of lap 2 here as well, we get a really nice run. Keep it nice and tight around the last turn. We know the pace is good as well. At this point in the race, I was confident, really confident. So I passed in into turn 1, and Chris has a massive slide, goes defensive, but it's too late. I switched to the inside. But he's still got enough on me through turn 2 there to switch back through here. It forces me into the middle of the track, and then up into turn 3 as well. He switchbacks again, so now Chris is on my right side here on the inside and outbrakes me into turn 4 and takes the position away. Yeah, and it's at this point where I decide, you know what, let's work together, let's catch Corey. So I give Chris probably the biggest push I've ever given someone up the main straight. And push him all about a quarter of the straight, just push him all the way up. And yeah, so we start working together on lap 4 here to try and catch Corey. But it doesn't really go as planned. Chris in the Birrell, which is a new kart for him. The brakes are very different, and he's not really that confident on them yet, and it catches me out on how early he was braking, and I jumped the curb there and get it all wrong. Just caught off guard as I was braking really late into that turn. Onto lap 6 here, around the first turn. It was at this point where I noticed if I wanted to win this heat, I needed to pass Chris, because I was starting to get a little bit held up. So I forced him to go to the inside or the middle of the track here to compromise his run out of 3. And we pull alongside now on the run down to 4. We don't want to lose too much time doing the overtake, so we get it done. We don't lose too much time to Corey as well whilst we get past Chris. So now we've got a couple laps to catch him. So around the last turn, yeah, he did struggle, Corey, around the last turn for especially heat 1. Majority of the day here, the car was a bit taily through there. I just found it really, really good in my car. We were quick for the last turn. We didn't really struggle too much. And at the end of lap 9 here into the final lap, we had close enough, but not at the rate at which I needed to recover mistakes from me. But we still have the chance to pass him. Through turn 2 here, the gap about a kart's length. Turn 3 as well. He shoots out of turn 3 a lot better than me, but into turn 4 I've been pretty rapid there all day, and once again the gap stays similar and through 5. But then this last turn, Corey makes a big mistake mid-corner right there, which allows me to pull up all the way alongside, and at the line he just holds me off by 7 thousandths of a second. So P2 in the first race is pretty good. P2 here, starting from 5th place, and it was a poor start. The lights are pretty far away. I actually couldn't see them for that start. I just went when everyone else went, so yeah, not the best, but it caught, I think, other people off guard. Ryan and Josh behind me as well. Didn't see that one coming. A little bit of contact between the 3 drivers in front of us here as we had to get off the accelerator and just slot back in behind Phil. And then down towards turn 4, we throw a dive bomb right up the inside, just not quite enough to take the position. Phil holds off pretty well there. It's good racing between us, and he's able to hold on, but we know we got some good pace down the main straight here. A little bit of a snap there on the exit for Phil compromises his run up the main straight, plus a good slipstream for me. I'm able to pass him up into turn 1 pretty easily as we enter lap 2. And then once again starts me just catching the pack ahead. And whilst we were doing this, Phil and the drivers behind us, we were dropping them by about a second a lap until lap 8 here, where we had pulled about 10 seconds to the people behind us. And this is when Chris wanted to attack Dan, so he goes up the inside of turn 1. Dan goes to the switchback. But Chris is alongside now on the dirty side of the track, and once again hops on the brakes, and that round he goes, and I jump on the brakes as well, and I'm off onto the grass as well, but we're able to keep our position because we were pulling away from the pack behind us and we're battling. Very lucky for us to do that. Chris actually lets me through here. We had a chat after the race. He felt bad about the spin. He felt like he ruined the race, so he let me back through, which worked in our favour. So a third place finish in the second race. Can't complain too much after what happened. Alright, so if I wanted to win the day, I knew I had to win this heat, so let's get into heat 3. Coming around the last turn here, and we're starting once again from second place, Corey alongside us, and it's a good start, but Phil giving Corey a push up into turn 1, and he goes through, and so does Chris as well, so once again I've lost positions off the start. And I've got Dan to my outside here, which now quickly is going to become the inside, so I think about going for the switchback here in turn 3. And yeah, it doesn't go as planned. The front bumper snapping off as it gets caught in between the rear wheel of Dan and his rear bumper, meaning that was my heat. A mechanical black flag meant I had to pull into the pits and retire for the race, which was very frustrating, as I knew this would probably kill any chance I had at winning the whole day. And yeah, thanks to Josh for this footage, and you can actually see there the car gets airborne at the front. It lifts the front wheels with the contact as the front nose flies off into the infield. Alright, I'm going to stop me from yapping here. Yeah, basically it just fully snapped the actual bracket for the front nose, but no damage to the kart, luckily, and I had a spare front nose to chuck on, which took a little bit of time, but I got there. Yep, so my spare was the one I was actually running in the first video, but yeah, we got it on, and we could still theoretically get on the podium, so we had to push in the final. Here we go, the final. Somehow we still could get on the podium, we could even get second. Tied on points with Dan and Phil, Chris 1 point ahead, so it was all to play for in the final here, and it's a really good start from us. We give Dan a little bit of a bump up into turn 1, and we don't lose a position. That's actually a first, I think, for the whole video, not leaving a position. But Chris once again goes round under braking into turn 2. It's been a pretty rough day for him as Dan gets past Corey, and Phil now goes up the inside of me into turn 3. And currently, as it stands, it's Corey who wins the day from Dan, and Phil now third place on the podium. So I'm currently, as it sits, not on the podium. So I knew I had to get past Phil, really, and I had to stay with the leaders because I wanted second place as a minimum here. As we enter lap 1, and we can see I'm gaining a lot on Phil up in towards turn 1 here, as Corey gets past Dan back up into the lead of the race. We give Phil a little bit of a bump into turn 2. Yeah, as at this point I knew we were quick. We have been quick all day. It's just a matter of time to get past Phil, but he's putting on some really good defense, and you can see in some parts of the track he is absolutely throwing it into the turns, and he's flying away from us. Yeah, the part of the track we've been strong all day through the last turn and up the straight. Once again, a massive slide there for Phil onto the main straight, and once again the headwind that had come just before this race made the slipstream a lot more effective, and we sat behind him and got past him up the main straight, and now we just started to pump in some laps to try and catch Dan and Corey ahead, as Dan and Corey do start to have their own little battle. Dan now goes into the lead, and I pump in the 2 fastest laps of the whole day, back to back, catching this fight, but I needed to do it, and as you can see here, halfway through lap 6, Corey checks his shoulder, and yes, I'm there, I'm in the fight, so I can still get second on the podium. All I have to do is beat Dan, the number 35, who is in the lead. So I need Corey to pass him, as Corey now goes to the inside up to turn 1 here. And he goes through, but Dan now is for the switchback, and because I don't want Dan to lead, I give Corey a little bit of a bump into turn 2. But Dan gets a really nice drive on exit there, and he's going up the inside, and I'm like, if Dan's going through, I've got to go through. So I now get to the inside of Corey as we box him in down towards turn 4, but he sticks around the outside. We get caught up a little bit on each other as my front left hits his side pod, and he sneaks back through in turn 5. So towards the end of lap 7 here, at this point, as it still stands, we are currently 3rd on the podium, which would be the first podium for myself for the whole season, but I want one better than that. I want 2nd. So give it another 2 laps, and we have caught again up to Dan, as Corey now goes up the inside in turn 1, and he takes the lead as Dan tries to fight it, slots back in behind him. I go to the outside now, looking for a switchback on both of them. I don't have the run on them though, so I give Dan a little bit of a bump. It's starting to get a little bit intense up the front here, as we're sort of just waiting for something to happen between these two. And at the end of lap 9 here, once again Dan in the slipstream can't put a move on them. And then just a lap later, we all stick together. At this point our pace was all pretty similar. The headwind made it so if you were slipstreaming you had a good chance, and we now nearly 3 wide down towards turn 2, and I go for the switchback on both of them. Dan around the outside gets Corey, and now I think I've got Corey, but he's just close enough to stick his nose up the inside there, and once again we get caught up on each other, and Dan runs away, and it was too late now for us to catch Dan. It was 1 more lap to go after this, and me and Corey had been battling too much, and he had pulled about 1.5 seconds on us now. So at this point I knew if I keep it on the track, a podium's guaranteed, but I still wanted 2nd on the road at least, so I decided, you know what, we're going to have one more go at Corey here. In towards turn 2, he has a little bit of a slide through mid-corner. We stick with him. We know we're strong at the end of the track, so we're going to sort of hold out until then and just try and keep the gap as close as we can as we run down the hill towards turn 4, and once again going well through there as Corey dips a wheel, and now this is our chance down after turn 5 towards 6. I pull to the inside, but not close enough. He's able to slam the door shut, and around the last turn holds me off for 3rd place, but it's the first podium of the season for myself, so I'm still pretty happy with that after having a DNF in the 3rd heat. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you. This is the end of my 2nd kart vlog, and I really do appreciate anyone who watches these videos. I put a lot of work into them, and try and make them as enjoyable as I can. We got some big events coming up soon. We've got another 2 rounds of the Festival State Cup to come this year. We're doing Nationals, which is Ultimate Club Racer in Griffith, Sydney. We'll try to make a separate video for that. We've also got the state title and the enduro race at the end of the year, so we've got some big videos coming, that's for sure. So yeah, stay tuned, subscribe so you don't miss any of those uploads, and yeah, thank you.